I hope you guys got your donuts ready because there's going to be a lot of glazing in this video. The early 2000s was very special to me as someone who loves music because there were so much good albums that came from that era, so many good hits and bands that came from that era. It was just a magical time for me. I'm not sure if it's like nostalgia talking to me because I'm getting older. I mean, I'm next year I'll officially be unk status. I'll be 30, which is like in the internet years 97. There's just something about that era that was just so good. And I feel like one album that sticks out in particular is Demon Days by Gorillaz. To understand how awesome this album is, you have to know who Gorillaz are, obviously, because this is my first time covering Gorillaz on this channel, and there's something way different than anything I've covered before because everyone I've covered, if they had a stage name, they either had a stage name like Rose or Eminem, or they're a band like the All American Rejects, Avenged Sevenfold, or they just straight up use their normal name like Billie Eilish. But here we got an interesting thing because while this Gorillaz is a band, it's not a real band. It's a virtual band. And what I mean by that is pretty much a cartoon band. So let me tell you a little bit about Gorillaz. The band was created by British musician Damon Albarn and artist Jamie Hewlett. And they were originally created as satire on the music industry and wanted to make music that had substance, so they manufactured a virtual band because there's a lot of manufacturing of bands back in the 90s and early 2000s. Introducing the band members, we got on vocals, Tootie. He's a tall guy, blue hair, and not the sharpest tool in the shed, but is a pretty good with writing music. And his vocals are just something else. Murdoch is the bassist and leader of the band who made a deal with the devil. There's that. That's why his skin's kind of green later on. Also, he's kind of a jerk. Then we got Noodle, who's a guitarist from Japan, who happened to show up in a package. I don't... That's an interesting plot thing to use, but okay. And then we got Russell, who's the drummer and is possessed by spirits. You even meet one of them in the music video for Clint Eastwood, which is a song off their debut album. So a cool thing about having a virtual band is you can kind of do whatever you want. You don't have to just focus on the instruments that the characters are using. You can do kind of whatever, which is what Damon ends up doing with the music that comes from Gorillaz. Each album is pretty different, but it's all very unique. And if someone were to ask me what genre are Gorillaz, I couldn't pinpoint one specific genre, so I would just say experimental because they do mix it up quite a bit. So now that you guys kind of have an understanding of what Gorillaz is, English is hard. Let's talk about the packaging. Alright, so here we got the artwork and main packaging for this vinyl. We got Gorillaz up here and Demon Days down here with just plain white font. And I love how simple this artwork is. And it's all done by Jamie Hewlett, who is the co-founder of Gorillaz that I mentioned earlier. We got Jamie Hewlett, who's behind the art and the characters and cartoons and stuff like that, and the music videos and stuff. And then we got Damon Albarn, who's responsible for like all the music and stuff, that side of things. So this is where Jamie shines. So yeah, we got a picture of 2D, we got a picture of Murdoch, picture of Noodle, picture of Russell. And they do some weird color swapping with it, but it works for what the album artwork is. So I think it's really cool. Opening this up, we got different artworks for different singles. Like Kids with Guns, there's the artwork for that. Dare, the music video features Noodle prominently too, so that makes sense that Noodle is there. Over here, we got Dirty Harry, Feel Good Inc. Lots of awesome artwork for all of these singles, and like I mentioned, I wish Feel Good Inc. Well, let me get that back. I wish Feel Good Inc. had like its own 7-inch donut that I could have, but it is what it is. But back here, we got the band again. We got Tootie, Russell, Murdoch, and Noodle. And then there's this monkey friend thing that I don't remember. I just don't really remember besides like seeing him and I think part of the music video for Dare. Besides that, I don't really remember much of the backstory, so if you're a Gorillaz fan and you know about the monkey, let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, we're not done yet. So even though there's no color disc for this album, which is kind of a shame, we do have interesting sleeves. So this first sleeve, it's pretty much bigger versions of these, so, but it's like a nicer look at them. So like if you wanted to like say hang like this picture up on your wall or something, you can. So we got 2D right here. Looks like he got some bruising right there and smoking a cigarette. And the cool kilt hat thing. A British thing, I assume. Then we got Murdoch here. He's got like a jacket on. He's Murdoch. I'll be honest, while I put this back, Murdoch is probably my least favorite, while 2D's my favorite. Murdoch's just such a big jerk. And then we got disc number 2, which of course has Noodle right there. She's got a little pirate hat on. Also looks like a similar jacket to what Murdoch was wearing, but a little different. And the same with Russell. We got him. He's got a backwards cap on with some goggles. It's actually really cool. Yeah. It's really cool that the sleeves are like bigger versions of those pictures, so that we get kind of a bigger picture. Anyways, look, this is why I'm not a comedian, okay? So yeah, overall, just like the album, which I will just be glazing more later on in this review. Amazing artwork. Like, Jamie Hewlett did a great job with all this and continues to do a great job to this day. So, let's get back into talking about the music itself. Before we talk about the album, to people who already know about Gorillaz, I want to let you guys in on something. We're not going to be talking about, like, when I talk about albums that are for Gorillaz, I'm not going to be talking about, like, the story and the music videos for each album, because for those who don't know, there's an underlying story going on with all of these band members throughout the history of the band in phases. So I would really encourage you guys, if you're interested in Gorillaz after watching this video, go look up their music videos and shorts and all that stuff, and there's a really cool story going on. I actually kind of plan to make some sort of like video on Gorillaz specifically, just focused on them as an entity. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. It'd be kind of a video essay-esque kind of video. Anyways, let's talk about this album. Now, compared to the last album that they put out, this is their second studio album, Demon Days is. It's a lot darker in tone than the first album was, but it's also more cartoony in a weird way. There's a lot of bangers on this album, for sure. Dare is an amazing song as well. The music video and the dance Noodles does is so iconic that that dance is in Fortnite now. I know, I gotta stop talking about Fortnite. It's just taken over my life. They added Power Rangers, okay? Anyways, this album just has so many iconic songs from them. And then there's Feel Good Inc., my favorite song from this album, and you have to have seen the music video because it has over 1 billion views as of recording this on YouTube. 1 billion with a B. Not an M, a B, 1 billion views. That's just wild to me. That song itself would just be an awesome single to have. I really wish I had the single for it. I do not. I don't think there is a single for it, so womp womp. But it's still on this album, and alone is worth getting it. It's definitely like a top 20 song for me, just like this is a top 20 album, maybe even top 10. I need to make an official list. A lot of these songs have a lot of funk to it and like hip hop undertones. I mean, Feel Good Inc. literally has a rapper as a feature. El Mañana, which is a more toned back kind of song, but tells a really interesting narrative. So the last few tracks of this album are actually very interesting and give you some food for thought to kind of leave the album with. And it's very interesting. It starts kind of from the song fire coming out of the monkey's head. In that song, we're getting told a cautionary tale by Dennis Hopper that drives home a message about how materialism could possibly lead to humanity's downfall. And I think the message in it is very interesting and very cool, because I feel like a lot of these Gorillaz albums, at least this one and Plastic Beach, which are the two I'm like the most familiar with, they both have like some sort of message to them. And like the whole backing of the band has its like reason for existing as an entity. But I always find it fascinating when artists put out albums that have like a message to them. And even if it's not just thrown in your face, it's still pretty clear in these last couple tracks for Demon Days that this is the message that he wants to, that Damon and Jamie really want to get through to people. It's kind of cool that they use just like a narrative spoken thing from Dennis Hopper to kind of tell this fictional tale, if it even is a fictional tale. I haven't really looked into it, but from what it sounds like, it doesn't sound real. But it's supposed to give an analogy about materialism and stuff. So yeah, ultimately, this is a great album. And there's nothing I can say to say like, hey, I don't think you should get it if you're not into this. No, like whatever genre you're into, check out Gorillaz. They're very interesting. There's definitely something that it feels like there's something for everyone on this album, whether you like really high-paced dance tracks, whether you like chill tracks, whether you like kind of more funky music. Really consider checking this album out. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this review. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when you do. Reminder, I have a Spotify playlist of all my favorite tracks from each album review I do. And if it's a single, I just slap it on it. For this one, it's going to clearly, as I've talked about, it's going to be Feel the Good Ink. So if you want to have that on that playlist, go listen to that. I also give a sneak peek at what my next album review is going to be. So be sure to go to the bottom of my description below. There's a link to the playlist if you have Spotify. So go check that out. And yeah, so long and good night.